Look, the world's a mess. But what if I told you that some of Europe's most historically powerful countries are teetering on the edge of collapse? And not in some distant apocalyptic future, but by 2025, we're talking potential domino effect here, folks. So, buckle up, because we're about to uncover the deeply unsettling truth behind 10 European countries that might not make it out of this decade as we know them. And don't forget to subscribe to the GlobeBit YouTube channel for more in-depth analysis and shocking predictions.
Ah, France. The land of wine, romance, and apparently increasingly frequent spontaneous combustion. This is a country grappling with mass protests, a sputtering economy, and political divisions deeper than a baguette is long. The French government seems to be playing a constant game of whack-a-mole with these problems, except the hammer's broken and the moles are armed with baguettes. Unemployment is up, the cost of living is skyrocketing faster than a bottle of Bordeaux at a Sotheby's auction, and don't even get me started on the youth unemployment rate. Now, I'm not saying France is doomed. They've come back from the brink before. But the question remains, can France bridge its divides, fix its economy, and avoid a full-blown meltdown?
Next up, Germany, the efficient, reliable, always-on-time engine of Europe. Except lately, that engine's been making a sound like a rusty Trabant trying to climb the Alps. Germany's facing a trifecta of troubles: an aging population, energy woes, and an economy teetering on the precipice of recession. Young people, those energetic go-getters who keep the economy humming, are hightailing it out of there faster than you can say lederhosen. Remember when Germany decided to phase out nuclear power? Well, turns out relying on a certain gas pipeline from a certain volatile eastern neighbor wasn't exactly a foolproof plan. All of this adds up to an economy that's about as stable as a Jenga tower after a toddler's gotten hold of it. And if Germany, the economic powerhouse of Europe, stumbles, the whole continent could go tumbling down with it.
Ah, Spain, sun, siestas, sangria, and a whole lot of political and economic headaches. Spain's recovery from the 2008 financial crisis has been about as robust as a paella left out in the sun too long. Unemployment is still painfully high, especially among young people, and the national debt is enough to make even a seasoned economist break out in a cold sweat. Remember that whole independence referendum thing a few years back? Well, let's just say those embers of separatism haven't exactly been extinguished. If Spain can't get its economic act together and find a way to appease Catalan separatists, it could be facing a perfect storm of troubles. And nobody wants to see a country known for its beautiful beaches and delicious tapas crumble under the weight of its problems.
Chapter 4. Poland, between East and West. Poland, a country caught in a tug-of-war between East and West, between its communist past and its EU present, between, well, pretty much everything. On one side, you've got the EU, waving the flag of liberal democracy and urging Poland to play by the rules. On the other side, you've got Russia, lurking in the shadows and whispering sweet nothings of authoritarianism in Poland's ear. And caught in the middle, the Polish people, deeply divided and increasingly disillusioned. Poland's government hasn't exactly been helping matters. This has led to accusations of democratic backsliding, sanctions from Brussels, and a whole lot of hand-wringing from international observers. The big question is, can Poland find a way to balance its own national interests with its commitments to the EU?
Chapter 5, Hungary, Orban's tightrope walk. Hungary, land of goulash, thermal baths, and a prime minister who seems to relish poking the EU in the eye at every opportunity. Viktor Orban, the self-proclaimed champion of illiberal democracy, has been busy turning Hungary into his own personal fiefdom, much to the chagrin of Brussels and human rights groups everywhere. The EU, for its part, has been trying to rein Orban in with limited success. They've launched numerous infringement procedures against Hungary, withheld funds, and issued stern warnings. The big question is, how long can Orban keep playing both sides?
Chapter 6, Italy. The debt time bomb, Italy. The land of pizza, pasta, and a national debt so large it could make even a Venetian gondolier seasick. Italy's been grappling with economic woes for what feels like forever, but lately, things have been looking about as stable as a tower of gelato in a heat wave. The debt. It's massive, it's growing, and it's casting a long shadow over Italy's future. The country's been struggling to get its finances in order for years, but a combination of sluggish growth, political instability, and, let's be honest, a certain Italian flair for spending has kept the debt mountain growing taller. Italy's political system is about as stable as a three-legged table in an earthquake. The big question is, can Italy finally get its act together and defuse the debt time bomb before it explodes?
Chapter 7. Greece. A familiar crisis, Greece. The birthplace of democracy, philosophy, and more recently, the Eurozone crisis. Just when you thought it was safe to go back into the Aegean, Greece is back in the headlines, and this time, it's not because of their stunning beaches or delicious souvlaki. Unemployment is still sky high, especially among young people, and the national debt is still larger than Zeus's ego. Years of budget cuts and tax hikes have taken a heavy toll on the Greek people, leaving many struggling to make ends meet. The healthcare system is on life support, pensions have been slashed, and public services have been cut to the bone. The big question is, can Greece finally escape the shadow of its debt crisis and build a sustainable future? Chapter 8. Serbia. Balkan tensions simmer, Serbia. A country haunted by the ghosts of its past, caught between its historical ties to Russia and its aspirations for European integration. The relationship between Serbia and Kosovo remains as tense as a tightrope walker over a pit of vipers. Kosovo declared independence from Serbia in 2008, but Serbia has refused to recognize it, and tensions between the two countries have flared up repeatedly in recent years. Russia has been busy meddling in the Balkans, using its influence to stir up trouble and undermine Western interests. The big question is, can Serbia resist Russia's siren song and continue on its path towards European integration? Chapter 9. Moldova caught in the crossfire. Moldova, Europe's poorest country, sandwiched between Romania and Ukraine, and caught in a geopolitical tug-of-war between Russia and the West. Moldova's been struggling to find its footing since gaining independence from the Soviet Union in 1991, and its current predicament is about as precarious as a unicycle on a tightrope. The country's economy is heavily reliant on agriculture, which makes it vulnerable to droughts, floods, and the whims of global commodity prices. Corruption is rampant, poverty is widespread, and many young people are fleeing the country in search of a better life. The big question is, can Moldova resist Russian pressure and maintain its independence? Chapter 10. Europe's uncertain future. So there you have it. 10 European countries facing an uncertain future. 10 countries grappling with a toxic cocktail of economic woes, political instability, and external pressures. Now, I'm not saying that all of these countries are doomed, but I am saying that they're facing some very real challenges that could have profound consequences not just for Europe, but for the entire world. Can it withstand the forces of nationalism, populism, and authoritarianism that are tearing at its seams? The answers to these questions will determine not just the fate of Europe, but the fate of the world. The year 2025 might seem far off, but in geopolitical terms, it's practically tomorrow. The decisions these nations make or fail to make in the next few years will have ripple effects across the continent and beyond. So, what do you think? Are these 10 countries truly on the brink? Is Europe heading for a major crisis? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And while you're at it, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on our next deep dive into the world's most pressing issues on the GlobeBit YouTube channel. Stay tuned for more insightful videos coming your way.